Hi guys, it's Kaden. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. If not, maybe I can make it better. Maybe make you smile. Welcome to my first new little segment. This segment is going to be called Get It Off Your Chest. Basically, it's a segment where I'm able to sit down and be completely open and honest and authentic with you guys, because a lot of the times what you see online is not always what's really going on in real life. Obviously, I'm not going to show everything. I'm not going to show every detail of my life because there is that boundary there, and I want to protect my privacy as much as I can. But there is certain things that make me me, and I feel like my goal is always to be as open and honest and authentic as possible, and to put my full self and my true self out there. So the videos that I typically post, while those are a version of myself, I always tend to try and be positive and happy-go-lucky and energetic and, you know, kind of like this extroverted character. That's always not the truth, and it's not always 100% accurate. Of course, at times that could be 1000% me, and then at times I'm the polar opposite. But I just kind of realized that you guys don't really get to see me in every light, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to shine a light upon realistic things that I struggle with, realistic problems that I deal with, and maybe I can help somebody if they deal with the same things. Maybe me talking about it and opening up can allow somebody else to open up and feel comfortable to talk with either somebody else, or even comfortable enough to admit it to themselves and discuss internally, or even writing or something, just something to get it off your chest. That's why I wanted to call it Get It Off Your Chest. Now, this is just going to be like a little segment thing on my channel. I'm still going to be uploading my regular content, but I did want something at least once a week to kind of fill you guys in on more of a realistic standpoint of myself. So I'm not going to be as crazy and funny, and I'm not going to be as crazy and extroverted in these videos. I'm going to be kind of just how I'm feeling internally that day. And typically I am a very mellow, chilled out person. Like, I thought to myself, like, if somebody ever met me or hung out with me in person, if they were just basing off of my content, they would assume that I'm this hyper energetic, like, extroverted, like, life of the party kind of person, and that honestly couldn't be further from the truth. I'm pretty introverted. I can be extroverted at times, but when I'm comfortable with somebody, I don't like big crowds. It actually gives me really bad anxiety. I just struggle with a lot of things mentally. I'm a chronic overthinker. There's just a lot of things about me that I feel like you don't know, and that I want people to know more about, because I want it to be more of a regular topic of conversation. Anyway, but my whole goal with this segment is I would love to eventually start a podcast. I think I spoke about this in a video in passing at times. I would love to start a podcast one day where I'm just talking about mental health issues, and then things that happen in real life that a lot of people don't talk about online, which is totally fine. That's your right. But if I am blessed enough to have a platform where individuals are watching me, I want to be as transparent and honest with real life situations, and I want to help as many people as I can. So I would love to start a podcast one day where I'm talking about mental health and inviting other creators who feel comfortable enough sharing their stories. I want to give advice. I just want to help somebody. If I'm helping one person, then it makes a world of difference. So that's all I really care about. But anyway, with these kind of videos, I don't really have a structure or a layout or like a destination of where I'm trying to go. I'm gonna kind of just speak freely and let the words flow, and hopefully it makes sense. But I wanted to discuss anxiety today, because I feel like anxiety is one of those things where you don't fully understand it, and you can't really wrap your head around it unless you have it, or unless somebody really close to you has it and you see the repercussions and the effects of that. If you're somebody that doesn't have anxiety, if that's something that you don't struggle with, a lot of people, when they think of anxiety, they think of like crippling anxiety, like in a bundle in the corner of your room, like not moving, like sad, like shaking, overwhelmed, overstimulated. If I didn't know any better, and when I thought of the word anxiety and what it looked like, that's what I would visualize. But in most cases, that's not always the truth. Anxiety kind of causes you to put on a mask. Obviously everybody's different, but for me at least that's what it does. I could be in a room full of people having a smile on my face and being loud or, you know, like sporadic and all over the place, but internally I am having a major anxiety attack and nobody would ever know. My anxiety is so internal that if you don't know me well enough, you wouldn't be able to assume that I do. Obviously, everybody has their own little giveaways. For me, what helps me when I have anxiety is I take really long, deep breaths like that. But so if I'm ever feeling anxious, like for example, if I was ever at a party and walking into a room full of people, I would be breathing so heavily. I would be like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed right now. And obviously everybody has their own little telltale like signals of like, hey, I'm feeling anxious. I'm a pretty big fidgeter, so I have like rings on me. I'll be twisting them. I'm a very big earring player, so I'll always like be sitting like twiddling my earrings. Obviously deep breaths. I get the chatters. So when I get really anxious, I chatter when I talk. Something too that I've noticed, just because you have anxiety doesn't necessarily mean it's always associated with negative feelings. It honestly comes from anywhere. And I say this because there's times where I'm talking about something I'm so incredibly passionate about and something I'm so happy to talk about and something I'm so excited to talk about, and I get the chatters and I get the jitters and I get shaky talking about it because of how important it is to me. And I think I get anxiety because the people I'm talking about it to, I'm fearful that I'm talking about my hopes and dreams and ambitions and that I'm getting judged on the other side. So sometimes anxiety isn't always internal. Sometimes it can be caused by the people you're interacting with as well and your environment. I think it's very, very important if you struggle with anxiety that you create a safe space somehow or somewhere, or go to a safe space, or just have a safe space. Like for example, if I'm super anxious, something that always calms me down, I always love being in nature. I love being able to see and just breathe fresh air and just silence. Like that to me is a very safe space. That's why I always get overwhelmed too when my room's a mess, because I like to consider my room a sanctuary. So when I feel like it's being taken over by mess or by other people or is just chaotic, then it in turn stresses me out because that's my safe space. You know what I'm saying? If you struggle with anxiety, I highly recommend finding that safe space for you. Learning yourself, honestly. One of the biggest things too is I'm so glad that it's becoming such a normal topic of conversation, because it's not something that you should hide. I feel like it is something that you should be open and honest about if you are comfortable, of course. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's completely okay. Do it on your time and in your space of when you feel comfortable. Never rush into doing something that you're uncomfortable doing, because it's just gonna make it 10 times worse. That's something I've had to learn, where I'm a chronic people pleaser as well. So sometimes I do things on other people's time where it's not always the most comfortable for me to do it. And it really is like, it causes like a huge war internally. But also you're gonna notice that I kind of tend to hop all over the place when I'm talking about things. It's very hard for me to stay on topic. I just get so consumed and overwhelmed with how many thoughts I have that it kind of I just talk about what is like right there in front of me. I think it's also nice to, as well, if you're feeling anxious or just in general, to learn to be comfortable with yourself. Because a lot of the times people think if I'm just by myself, I'm alone and I'm lonely. Which you are alone, but you're not alone. You're alone with yourself. You're in your own company. Just because you're alone doesn't always mean that you're lonely. Sometimes the most lonely times I've felt is when I'm surrounded by a group of people. So learn to be comfortable with yourself and take the time to truly learn yourself as best as you can. Because then that's gonna allow you to be the most authentic version of yourself, but also speak freely to the people in your life that matter. And what I mean by that is if you truly don't understand what's going on with you internally, there's no way to have the opportunity to allow the people you care about to help you. I do apologize if what I'm saying isn't really making any sense. I'm just trying to convey how I'm feeling. And that's a really hard thing for me to do in a one-sided conversation. Because typically if I talk to somebody about this, I'm able to bounce back and forth, and they could say something and then I can have an opinion about it, or I could speak upon certain things that they talk about. It's really hard for me to speak about how I'm feeling without feeling like what I'm saying isn't making any sense, or what I'm saying isn't the correct terminology or all that stuff. I think it's also important to, trying to get back on track. I swear I lose my train of thought 24/7. It feels like it's constantly like making pit stops at different ideas or different topics, and I can never just stay on track. I think my advice to anybody who cares to listen, I think if you have anxiety, my best advice is to really hone down and find the center of the reasoning why. Why are you having anxiety? Like, really ask yourself those questions and ask yourself, okay, why am I feeling this way? What could have caused me feeling this way? And how do I fix it? Because once you fix the root of the problem, you could stop it before it spreads and gets worse. And then obviously at times, even though I know the reasoning why, it still doesn't help. Sometimes that happens too. If that happens to you, that's completely okay. And I want you to know that you will be okay. Like, the thing that you are currently feeling right now, that's all temporary. And you need to know that. It's never going to be a long-term feeling. You're never gonna feel... Any emotion in life is never guaranteed, and it's never permanent. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you're going through a really hard time, just know that it's not permanent, and there are better days ahead. And honestly, there could be worse days ahead. But that's the beauty of life, is that we have the capacity to feel all those emotions and feel all the highs and lows and learn from them and grow from them and really appreciate them for what they are. For me as an individual, if you think about all the emotions that a person can feel, I typically I think I feel sadness the most. Which again, that's why I wanted to talk about this more, because you wouldn't guess that based on my regular content. And don't get me wrong, I'm a very happy person. I'm very blessed and I love my life and everything like that. But what I mean by me feeling sadness the most, I guess sadness is where I feel the most calm and content and like me, if that makes sense. Like, sometimes when I'm happy, it doesn't always feel natural. Like, sometimes it feels like I'm putting on this act, like I'm this other person, where in reality I am very quite comfortable in silence and in sadness and in like stagnant energy. Meaning, like, I feel the most comfortable when I'm not feeling, I don't want to say like not feeling anything, but like when I have absolutely nothing to think about. Meaning not thinking about something exciting, not thinking about something happy, not thinking about something terrible, not thinking about something angry, not thinking about something sad. Just overall just feeling nothing. And I know that's kind of weird. Like, that's kind of a weird thing to say, I feel like. I mean, it's not to me, but I feel like I can understand that it could be weird for other people to hear that or to understand that, and that's fine. At the end of the day, I'm not expecting anybody to understand what I'm talking about. I would just hope that it could bring light to certain feelings in certain real life situations, and hopefully I could help someone one day. That's all I want from this. I'm not looking for pity, because that I really don't need that. Or I don't want that at all. I'm completely comfortable and happy with who I am as an individual. I know who I am at the end of the day. Still learning who I am. Obviously, every day I learn something new about myself. But I'm fully comfortable with myself, so I don't want people to feel bad for the things that I'm saying, because it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bug me. Again, everybody's different. Everybody has their own way of interpreting things and stuff. I'm gonna wait until my cat's done peeing. I really have no idea if what I'm saying is making any sense. I hope it does. I also feel like I don't want to like belittle like myself or like belittle like what I'm talking about, but like it makes me feel like corny talking about it. Just because it's something I only talk about in certain settings doesn't mean it's something I want to hide from. This is a part of me that I never want to be ashamed of, and I'm not ashamed of it, but it's never something I want to keep from the world, if that makes sense. Especially when this is something that I really want to do with my life. I want to give it my all, and the only way I could give it my all is if I'm putting my true authentic self out there. And this is a part of who I am, and this is a part of something that's important to me. One of the reasons why I wanted to do YouTube and film videos is to document my life, but also to be a voice for people and to shine light on certain things that aren't always talked about. Luckily, I think mental health is becoming a more normal thing to talk about, which I'm really, really, really happy to see that. But I still don't think it's talked about enough. And I feel like, yes, I may be one person and I may be one voice, and I may be, you know, a small creator with less than 1,000 subscribers, but at the end of the day, if I help one person, then that's all that really matters. If I could be a comfort for one person, and if I can show one person that they're not alone and they don't have to deal with these things by themselves, and they have a voice in me, and that I know what they're going through and I can understand what they're doing and, you know, what they're feeling to a point, then that's all that matters to me. Anyway, I feel like that's all I'm gonna talk about today. I'm a very, very big rambler, so I could just go on, but I feel like I'm gonna talk myself in circles about this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this little segment, and I hope you got to see a more realistic version of myself, because yes, I enjoy being happy-go-lucky and, you know, making jokes and being silly and goofy, but a lot of the times that's not who I am to my core, and I really want to give the opportunity to let you guys in to that as well. Again, with this, I would love to eventually make a podcast about this and invite other creators that want to talk about mental health on, and we could talk together. I also would love to help you guys out if you have any questions or need advice on anything. Feel free to comment them below, or if you want it private, you could go ahead and DM me and, you know, ask me about certain things and I could discuss it in these episodes. Overall, I just want the get it off your chest segment to be completely like I want it to be like a breath of fresh air. I don't want to bullshit anybody. I don't want to be fake. I don't want to put this mask on. I don't want to put a facade on. I don't want to think, oh, what if this person, I don't want to think about what other people are going to think about me. I don't want any of that. I just want to sit down and talk about how I'm feeling with no filters and with no fears of being judged. So yeah, I would love to open that platform up to other people as well. So if you need advice on anything, or if have any questions or anything that you particularly want me to discuss, I'm more than happy to do that, and I would love to do that. Comment down below if you feel comfortable, obviously. Comment down below something that you might struggle with and that you're working on. And maybe that could help somebody that's reading it too. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment. I will be uploading one of these every week in my regular content, so I'm very happy and excited to do that. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and remember to stay always unapologetically yourself. Never change for anyone, because you're perfect just the way you are. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!